We live?
I can't hear you, Sarah. I can hear you, John. Can you hear
You
me?
can hear me? I can hear you.
Everyone.
Hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear you guys. I just can't hear Sarah.
Oh no, she can't hear. They can't hear us.
I see
Look at
some
the
hype.
enthusiasm in the chat.
Well,
Let's
let's go,
go.
chat. I like it.
Where is Sarah? Is she not with you guys? Anthony?
All right. Can you guys hear us now?
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, there she
Yeah.
is. She's in the same room.
All right. Well,
People are saying no sound. Is the sound working now?
Sarah, you see the red microphone under BankSocial team? Click it, maybe. Now?
Okay, it sounds like they can hear us now.
Wouldn't be a lot.
I know, always.
Audio.
Before we take down our booth, we can let everybody see our booth
Ooh.
here at.
You know what? It's
It
coming.
looks good.
Oop, that's our booth over here. We're about to take it
Oh, guest
Oh, yeah.
appearances.
down. There's Josh.
What's up, Josh?
We're about to start breaking everything down. We ready to get going?
I think so.
Yeah, let's
Are you
go.
guys having trouble hearing us?
No. Well, I'm not.
Let's go.
All right. Let's kick it off. So, can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah, I think we're still getting some feedback from you guys, Sarah, like some echo. Is that just me, or are you guys getting it too?
It's good on my end.
I didn't
All right,
notice.
let's try it now. Can you guys hear us okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds like we're good.
This is hilarious. There we go. How about now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Let me bring the team back on. Okay, and now?
Yep.
Yes.
Good
Okay.
job, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to make sure we had that wide angle view. So yeah, John is at the Elevate conference, which he probably just mentioned, but we couldn't hear. And we have Liz, Nate in the BankSocial office. We have Anthony, Darlene. Got a pretty full house today. So yeah, I kind of wanted to just kick it to you, John. There's been some exciting things that have happened this week. So if you wanted to share a little bit about where you're at. I know we had the SEC chair, Hester Pierce, was here yesterday, which was amazing. And some of the updates around stocks and some of the new partnerships happening.
Yep. Josh and I and Catherine were here today and yesterday at a really big event. We had a couple of other digital banking platforms over here and one or two other ones down here, a bunch of clients, existing clients, and several handfuls of new people who, what I think was really interesting about today that we hadn't heard maybe as much as we did today was that everybody's been hearing about us and everybody's been talking about us. And I think what we've heard more today than any other time is there's a buzz going around. Everybody wants to integrate with BankSocial. Everybody wants to have BankSocial as a part of their platform. We even heard that yesterday, Liz, with a couple of calls we were on with some really big advisory groups that work with tons of banks and credit unions about how they can continue to evolve into the space where we're at and how we're the best positioned in the company or best positioned in the space to deploy and continue to help these financial institutions evolve. So I think that was one of the most exciting things for me to wait. Kevin is on?
Yeah, I know. Kevin, Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh,
Oh, sweet. Yeah, right.
that's our CIO.
Um, so it's like how do we continue to drive these conversations forward where these financial institutions are able to leverage all the tools we provide, and how all the vendors in the space that deploy these types of solutions, how these vendors can help enable our components and our platform components into their platforms. So yeah, I mean it's really exciting. I think what's even more exciting is being able to share the things we're working on with people like SEC Commissioner Hector Purse. Last night had the pleasure. It's like she remembered my name this time, which was really cool. I've met her a couple handfuls of times, and she always recognizes me, but this time she actually remembered my name. So that was really cool. And we had a really great discussion last night about where securities laws are going, where securities, where the advancements are happening, where the administration is focusing. We shared some of the use cases we're working on. I think what was encouraging is there was some concern. We had some financial institutions and
He's leaving us hanging again.
I know. Always when he's like, what does Becky say? Drop in alpha, and then he's gone.
Yeah. I'll pick up until he comes on back. Yeah, we've had some great conversations. I think I know I said this last week, but what has been interesting to describe to some of these more traditional FI vendors is what the community is and how BankSocial was started versus a couple of the people who you would say might be a competitor in our space. And because of that, the strength that we've been able to continue to build. And when we talk about the community, how once it starts to click, you can really see the vendors understand where that growth has come from and why it will and has continued. And so that's been really cool for me. Like Jen said, we had a conversation with it's not so much a partner, but someone who had been an advisory company that had been hearing a lot about what BankSocial is doing. And so we were able to sit down with them and show them the platform. They got to a point, so we were just having a discussion, describing what we do, and they got to a point where they said, yeah, this is all cool, but is it real? Like it was too good to be true. And so John pulled one of his, but wait, there's more. And he, pulls open the demo and is able to show in real time the solution that we have. And I was really proud to be part of the team. So I was able to message the rest of the group and talk about how cute our baby is, I think is what I said. I didn't have to call the baby ugly. I got to talk about how cute our baby is. It's just a term of endearment that I've had for ugly software for a while.
I love that. I love the baby reference. We've been really excited about everything that we've been working on here that we're hopefully going to be able to share a little bit more when John jumps back on. But as some of you guys have seen, stocks are coming soon to the BankSocial app, so we're really excited about that. There really aren't many. I mean, we won't go deep into it.
We'd be like one of the only platforms in the world.
Yeah, one of the only platforms that offer stocks and crypto in the same experience. And John is back.
Hey.
there you go.
There we go.
So we were talking. I was kind of, where did I leave off?
Liz kind of continued, but the excitement about, how our name's been coming up. You've been speaking to different partners, credit unions.
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about some of the meetings that we've had recently. And the conversations around, like yesterday when we were describing the product, going through all the offerings, and then but wait, and you pull open the app and are able to demo real time on what's going on, but that it's a real life platform. And I called it our cute baby.
Well, I wanted to talk really quickly about what we talked about last night with Commissioner Purse, because I think it's super relevant to the conversation. A lot of the banks and financial institutions, they're a little concerned because we see so many questionable things happening in the space. We see things where uh, claims are being made of wrap tokens. We see things where claims are being made of how money movement is happening. We see a lot of claims, and I think what's really cool about the current administration and the current set of regulators that we have, and specifically Commissioner Purse, is that they've worked so hard to understand how this ecosystem needs to evolve and needs to be monitored, needs to be regulated, because not only do they understand existing securities laws, existing regulations, but they also understand the capabilities of these new tools and these new systems. And they're not focused on how they should take these new tools and merge them or try to fit them into existing laws and existing frameworks. They really are focused on how they leverage these new tools in brand new ways. But certainly there's still the openness to we talked about just the kind of things you see out there that are questionable, that need to continue to be looked at, that are you know we're starting to see a bit more of, like Lee Bratcher from the Texas Blockchain Council. I won't mention exact projects or tokens that were discussed there, and not that we actually discussed these projects, not that Commissioner Purse actually addressed any specific thing. She didn't. She was very general in her discussions, but she certainly was open to suggesting that if you see something, if you notice something, if you feel that investor protections are being, there's not a general consensus that anything goes, just because the momentum has shifted to more openness, more embracing of these technologies. That certainly is still they're not regulating by enforcement anymore, but they certainly are still calling out the frauds and calling out I think we heard a story from one of the guys at the roundtable that there was a company that basically was doing fraud, and they said it's okay because Trump's in office. It's all good. Trump's in office. But we do think that the regulators have leaned in. They are open to the discussions, and I think we've always found that they've been open to the discussions. But I think now you're seeing more openness in communication, outward facing communication, as opposed to the, hey, we're open to discuss with you. We're open for you to come discuss with us. Now they're going out. I mean, the crypto roundtable, the crypto task force has, they've got 30, 40 conversations planned over the next couple of years, and they've already had 10 or 15. They're starting to do these roundtables all over the country. I would encourage that if you're a builder in the space, or you're working on projects in the space, to get in front of one of those roundtables, because the ability to get FaceTime and to get insight, and to ask questions and to get feedback in real time, is really tremendous. And utilizing, I know a lot of people are afraid of the SEC, a lot of people are afraid of the regulators, but I think that now is the time to lean in and really go engage with the regulators, especially if you have a project where you're working on real things, you're working on real impacts, and you just have questions about exactly how that pertains to existing laws and existing regulations. I think they're open right now. So absolutely, I think yeah, I think there's some great comments in here that the Ponzi's and the scams, they've been running for hundreds of years. They're going to continue to run. And that's really what the SEC is. Their primary focus is on that now. It's back to, enforcement and keeping investors safe. And I think for a period of time, there was a concern that it was just about keeping crypto from surviving, but that's not the case anymore. I think they've clearly shown that they're open to these new types of technology. And you're seeing that across the board at the OCC, at the NCUA, at the FDIC. The Treasury just came out the other day. We talked a lot about how the Treasury came out the other day and legitimized how information can now be stored on chain. And eventually that'll continue to move down the line from just reporting to transactional, then to, kind of being tied into the systems where money generation is happening. When money generation, happens. And am I losing you guys again, or am I still here? Okay. All right. So, all
Okay.
right. Enough about that. I mean, we could talk about that for a long time, but that was a really great conversation last night. A lot of great people up here, a lot of great insights we got. And I'm really, really excited about the future of what the regulators are prepping for. And but yeah, that's really exciting. Yeah, I think today the Wyoming chose Hedera for their stable coin. That's pretty exciting. Did you guys see that?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff.
So did you see this question about, I'm not sure if you
Which
saw
one?
that. We might save that for the end. John, did you touch on, I talked a little bit about it, but stocks coming to the BankSocial app?
Yeah, I think we touched on it last week, but we certainly can touch on it again. I don't know, Kevin. Do we have like more of a sign up for first access? We're not doing that for stocks, right? We're just going to roll it out, or are we going to do are we going to do enablements for certain people? What did we decide on that?
We're going to do enablements on it. Mainly, we're going to focus in, obviously on our internal team, make sure everything's working
Well,
correctly.
I don't think anybody cares about the internal team. People want to know when they can use it.
Yeah, we're gonna go with some of our champions first. Let our BankSocial champions, get their feet wet. I don't expect that to take a very long period of time. Definitely not as long as it took for some of our other products like Secure Tag or other things. We just want to make sure that we've got some people and folks that are very familiar with the app, can drill in and make sure that we've done everything, and there'll be like a limited beta, and that won't last very long, and then we'll roll it out to the larger community pretty rapidly once that's done.
John,
And
can
did
you?
we?
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go
I have
ahead,
a
Liz. No, I mean, Sarah, go ahead.
So when we think about crypto and stocks that we're offering on the BankSocial platform, we're one of the only platforms, if not the only self-custody platform that does this, right?
Yeah, so I think from a self-custody perspective, we are the only platform that's got anything even remotely close to this. In addition to, I mean, forget for a second just the addition to stocks to self-custody, but the ability to move those assets between your financial institution and your self-custody wallet in real time. Sell the stock into your bank account, get a loan, pay a loan, buy a home interoperably. I mean, that is really what we're fundamentally changing about how the future of banking will work. And what's really great about it is the credit unions are leaning in at a pace and at a speed that very few technologies have ever seen in the space. And that's kind of what we heard today from a lot of the partners that we've been talking to, is that they're starting to hear our name more and more and more and more, which is it's humbling, because what we believed in and what we fought to build for, this open banking, this open connectivity network layer, is really resonating with credit unions, because at the end of the day, they care about the local communities. They care about um, financial well-being, and this is part of financial well-being: the ability to use your money, the ability to use your wealth, the ability to grow your wealth. That is part of your ability to have you know um, a well-balanced life. And that's what credit unions really care about. A lot of community banks care about that as well. So we see a really good balance between what we're doing with the credit union community banking space, and it's really exciting that those institutions are starting to not only embrace but share the successes and share the stories. I think as one of the only players in the space who's got so many financial institutions, it's really exciting when you see them embracing these technologies, and then of course telling their fellow their fellow partners who typically would be competitors, but in this space don't see themselves as competitors. I mean, that's really humbling and inspiring to see.
Yeah, Armando said money generation and keeping liquidity in the bank. That's pretty spot on.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I mean, that's the whole thing is that, you know, I mean, when we look at the history of systems just generally, you have kind of this evolution that's repeated, a cycle that continues to be repeated. And a good way to look at it is the um, back in the late 90s, you had the Experian, you had the web one Experian, or the Priceline experience. And so Priceline came around and they trained everybody to look at experience as the primary driving factor. And then you had a bunch of competitors come along, the experience and all those people. And then it was really a price driven decision. Like you could get the same experience everybody else, and it was a price driven experience. So you were like, hey, where can I go? I'm going to compare Priceline to Experian to, this person to that person, and I'm going to pick the best price. And that's kind of what we're seeing with finance right now is there's this transition from the Robin Hoods of the world, the Cash Apps of the world, who had first mover advantage because they had access to the technologies, they had access to the developers. But that doesn't last forever. And what we're seeing now is that technology has become a commodity, and what's actually winning is the focus on the consumer, the focus on the community, the focus on the outcome, the impact to somebody's life. That's what's making a difference. And you only had a few options before, but now what's happening is it's moving back to a situation where you've got the ability to move those funds, to move that experience back into your financial institution. And your financial institution can do so much more with regard to financial well-being and being kind of that wellness provider, that wellness provider that they can nobody can compete. What I think is very interesting is nobody can really compete with a credit union on interest rates and financing. Even in DeFi, I mean, you see DeFi, and you question sometimes, how are you able to pay a 40% you know 40% interest rate? Likely what's happening is it's not real, it's just some temporary mechanism, some temporary marketing mechanism, or even worse, it's some unsustainable economic engine that just can't work. And so what we see is, like, when you get cost of borrowing down around 2.5, 3%, even in these markets 4%. That's because these community based institutions aren't there for profit. They're there for access. And when you can marry the type of access and the type of technology that we're bringing to the table, with the ethos of people helping people, you get this whole new financial paradigm and outcome. And that's what we're really able to embrace and leverage with our current client base and the new clients that we're signing every day.
Nice. Okay, I mean, I wanted to kind of touch on some of the questions really quick on Secura that we had pop up in here. Um, so DREC, I know we've talked about that. Is it going live for retail soon? I know this is
Kevin,
something.
Kevin? I know we've been talking about that for a little bit. We've got that working. So technically for retail, it is live. If you're in one of our credit unions,
Yeah,
um, you,
it's working within the credit union. If you're working on the embedded digital banking app, there's still some issues that we want to harden, I guess is the right word, on the mobile app. Just from the standpoint that when we're in the digital banking experience, we have a whole lot more tight controls on everything. And the last thing I want to do is put a solution that's guaranteed to keep everybody's seed phrase secure in the app. That's not to say that the app isn't secure. There's just some hardening between communications with the app and with all of the downstream credit unions, and making sure that that's ready to go. It's been slower than I would have liked, I'll be honest with you. But we're pushing forward with it. We're dotting I's, crossing T's, and making sure that we also don't give our customers in that mobile wallet a bad experience. Even when we launched in the embedded wallet.
Can you talk through really quickly what you mean by hardening? You don't mean hardening the existing app. You mean ensuring that the new implementation is hardened before we deploy it, right? Best in class before we deploy it.
Yeah, best in class. That data at rest at the credit unions is best in class, and that we have control over what the credit unions are doing. That we have best in class of data in transit. I think there was a question over here earlier about quantum resistant cryptography, making sure that all of those things are in place, so that it's an absolute best in class service. John,
Kevin, you there?
John, you were.
Yeah, maybe it was I who broke up. Yeah, I was just gonna ask the question of, and I know the answer, but just to clarify it, everything we have rolled out to this point is quantum resistant. Right. We just want to ensure that anything new that we bring to the app, as we bring these new paradigms to the app, they are also brought to the app in a way that continues to build on that bank grade security, that enterprise grade security that we have throughout the ecosystem right now.
Right. Yeah, that's where I start, where I'm talking about the quantum resistance. It's we may be quantum resistant, but is the credit union storage quantum resistant that we're going to for the data store? And it's making sure that those we're crossing those T's, and making sure everything on the back end is solid. We're working on making it the appliance that that the credit unions have, conforms to our standards, not their standards. So that's really where that hardening comes in, is making sure that we're good to go. And
Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah.
No way to give it the secret sauce.
You're there.
Yeah, don't give away the secret sauce.
but yeah, it's basically it's making it boils down to the partnerships with the credit unions and everything else. And there's a lot of it's a lot easier for us as BankSocial that moves fast and nimble to make sure things work on our side than it is across the distributed network. So
yeah.
Awesome. So,
well, short answer, go to a credit union. It's already available there. You have DREC at your credit union. Go use it there. Available in the app. As soon as we are able to, deploy this in a way that can go to these end nodes, being your phone. And so it's already there. Go to a credit union, use it at one of our credit unions.
nice. So what about, we have a question here about staking. You mentioned it actually, John, recently about staking. I think, I don't want to speak for you, but you did drop something around staking that's coming soon outside of just what we're offering now.
Yeah, I think we'll continue to work with the DAO on that. There have been some advancements on that front, and it's just a matter of tying off those last few details before we can make any announcements. But certainly, that decentralized methodology.
Okay, so those announcements are coming soon. I think we lost you for a second, but yeah, so this is something that you guys are working on with the DAO. And then speaking
Always,
about, huh? John? Are you there? It looks like he's there and he's like talking, but then nothing's coming out, and then there's like a robot speaking. But I know he's about to come back in. Okay, there we go. Okay, so he'll answer that question. I know we had a couple questions on that. Nate and Anthony, you guys are both on too, so you probably know like what voting or what's happening around staking as well.
Yeah, I do have one quick announcement for BSL real quick. So we are aware of the BSL price display issue on CoinMarketCap, which is also causing incorrect price display inside the BankSocial app. We've been in contact with CoinMarketCap since the problem first appeared yesterday, and they told us it's an issue related to a migration on their end. In the meantime, if you'd like to check the current BSL price, you can head over to Gecko Terminal and look it up there. But just know that we're on top of it, and we're going to continue to push for a prompt resolution.
Thanks, Nate.
thanks, Nate. So there was nothing needed from our side on that, right? It was just them cleaning up stuff on their side. They're aware of it.
Yep,
They're
correct.
working
And
on
then
it.
we'll keep following up with them so that we get it to the community as fast as possible.
Awesome.
Okay, but yeah, John, we did lose you, but from what I understood, the staking announcements are coming soon on that front.
Yeah, I hesitate to use the words "coming soon." I think as we, I think what's different. I think what people need to understand that's different about what we do versus everybody else is that we're not interested in creating some token wrapper scenario where we don't have to prove what tokens are behind what or what assets are backing what, or this is not a place where, just like Kevin was saying, it doesn't make sense for us to move fast just for the sense of moving fast, just for the sense of making empty announcement after empty announcement. The announcements that we want to make or that we are making are substantial announcements, and we're moving faster than really anybody in the space. And so we want to continue to bring substantial announcements to the table. And just saying coming soon doesn't really qualify or quantify exactly what we've got going on behind the scenes. So as soon as that next substantial announcement is ready, that we work on constantly with the DAO and with our partners, we'll make that, and it'll be a big move to enhance the current capabilities of the DAO. But again, it's not in our hands. It's part DAO, it's part partner. Really, it's just a new collaboration of business and being a pioneering space. And you guys hearing all the breaking down that's going on around me. I don't know if that's too loud, but they're done with being next to us. But yeah, I think that the best way to say it is the DAO, the partners, and BankSocial are working diligently to finalize those final few components of that. And as soon as we're ready to announce another substantial component being released, we are as ready as you are to make that announcement. Trust that.
Cool. So we're checking now kind of for some of the questions that are coming through the chat. We covered the cryptography algorithm, Kevin, and DREC vaulting. We've covered that. Staking. Are there any partnerships that we wanted to mention because a lot happened this past week? John and Liz, you guys might have covered this already, but We have our AMA roundtables, which we invite the community to be a part of, for you guys to kind of get an idea of how you can talk to your credit union, to ask for some of the products that we have. But just to kind of touch on some of those partnerships coming up. Did you guys already cover that? I'm going through our questions over here.
No, I think we did sign. We just enhanced a partnership that we've had for a couple years with the probably the second largest credit union network in the country called Cornerstone. Liz, we just finalized that on Friday, didn't we? Thursday or
Yep.
Friday?
Yep.
Yeah, maybe Liz, why don't you give the community kind of some thoughts on what you think that does for us? I'm always excited about everything, but I know you've recently been excited about a lot of the stuff you're seeing coming from a place where maybe um, you know um, we're moving at triple, quadruple, 10x speed um, versus what generally happens in the market. Maybe what are your thoughts on that strategic growth and innovation perspective on what something like a Cornerstone brings to us?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Cornerstone in particular, and quite a few of these partnerships that we're looking at that we're either in talks with or have already signed on. A lot of these are commitments that like we get on the phone, we're very excited about. Legal has to get involved and do their thing, but Cornerstone, we got to the finish line on expanding on the partnership with them. The great thing with Cornerstone is, so it's a league, and credit unions, most credit unions are a part of their state leagues. Just like in the credit union industry where you're seeing some mergers happen, you're seeing leagues also merging. And Cornerstone has had a couple of those mergers where they've combined forces with other leagues and have partnerships with them. So it's a pretty expansive network that they have. John's actually at one of the Cornerstone events right now that is more tailored toward like executives. But they have with what they offer for their credit union members. So not the members of the credit union, but the credit unions that are members of leagues, is they're advocates, they're educators, and they bring forward access to partners like BankSocial that they evaluate on behalf of the credit union, so that they can then say, this is a trusted partner that we ourselves have evaluated, and we think that this could be a viable option for you as a credit union. They're very careful about who they're partnering with, because you can imagine what that means if you're going to partner with someone and you're putting your name behind them. So there's quite a bit of vetting that goes into that process. And we're really proud about this partnership because of the size of it, but also the principles that Cornerstone has stood on and the history there. So they are known to be huge advocates for the members in their communities. They've done a lot of work with their communities and their credit union members, and they are really forward thinking when it comes to partnerships and advocacy in not only their local government or their state government, but also nationally. So you'll often see, if you follow them on social or anyone who's involved in their leagues, they're sending people to DC all the time to have conversations about regulation within not only the credit union, but the financial space. And as you guys know, there's a lot going on there right now. I just had, typically, you get all these newsletters every day, and I love to read mine in the morning with my coffee and my brand new mug that I keep showing off to everybody. And more recently, you've seen a lot of articles on open banking, open finance, and pushing forward what that means. So the conversations that we have then, John and I and Becky and the team, when we're getting on, they aren't so much, whereas previously, even I'm talking like less than 6 months ago, it was, how can we teach and coach you about what this world is, what open banking, what open finance, what crypto is, to now we're getting on the phone and they completely are in a different position. Where today we were talking to a gentleman who runs a very large organization and a partnership that we're working on, and he was telling us how he had about 10 calls with his mom as she was doing her first experience in crypto. I can't remember like who it was that she was trying to get an account open with, but she was investing her first $500. And that was very cool to not only hear about in terms of like getting on the phone with them and they understand they've done it before, but then we're already far past the education process where we're not having to convince anything, or they're not in disbelief of what's going on in terms of like how the system works. I would also say that like I've been getting a little bit, I've tried to honestly like temper my excitement because I don't want it. I want to make sure that it comes across, very, very real. But I'm, as many of you know, I'm a huge evangelist for credit unions. I believe in communities of people coming together and building something for the future. And so when I get to talk about the community to these organizations, the exciting thing that we're talking about is it's like what we saw in the 60s with cooperatives coming together. And the more and more I become a part of this community, the more I get excited about that. So again, like trying not to get too excited where people are like, this girl is off her rocker, but also like, I think that that's probably something that everybody here has experienced before. And they're like, this is kind of unreal. Is this really happening? And then you go through the process and you understand that, yeah, it is. And what we can build is something that everybody can have access to. And that's, again, what just feeds my heart and a lot of the people that I've worked with for years and years in the credit union space, their hearts as well. I had a text conversation going where with a couple CEOs in the industry, and they're like, all right, where do I start? And so I don't know if it was over this weekend or last weekend that I got on our internal conversations, and I was asking the team, all right, what's the best tip that I can give these people to get started so that they can start to understand it as well? So big stuff, making big waves.
Love that. So John, I have a couple of questions coming through here. The first one about vaulting, I feel like we kind of touched on that, but if there's anything deeper there that we want to cover. And then Canada, we talked about this on our session either.
Well, Becky was just in Canada. Becky was just in Canada meeting with, hundreds of Canadian executives about this. We are international already. We are working with international entities already. And so Canada is certainly on the list. And so it's just a matter of being able to penetrate these markets. Can't be everywhere all the time, but Becky was literally just 2 days ago in Quebec talking with credit unions all over the country about this exact what we're talking about right now. So Canada is absolutely on the list. It's a priority for us, and we'll continue to penetrate these markets as they embrace. Part of it is regulatory. Part of it is the underlying economy being ready for it. So it's not completely in our hands, right? Just until a year ago or 6 months ago, even the United States, the people were still on the fence about which way they go. And so a lot of this is driven by market movements, regulatory movements. And so we stay up to speed on those things. And as markets open up, we are one of the first to penetrate, and we're probably in the best position to penetrate.
It's funny because we can't be everywhere all the time, but Becky can and is. You follow her on social, it's where in the world is Becky? And she's somewhere today. I don't even know if she was hopping on a flight earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's going to meet with another big consortium of credit unions.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember where she is either. Boston. Okay, so Kevin really wants us to cover the vaulting. I promised the Secura question first, though. So Secura tags, I know we're working on that. Nate's on.
Yeah, so let me answer. I was confused about what he meant by vaulting. So vaulting is what he's referring to, I believe, is freezing tokens. There's already that capability is already there. Reach out to Nate, reach out to the team. Vaulting, if that's what we're going to call it, vaulting/freezing. Capability is already there. Nate and team can help you through that process. Just reach out through the BankSocial app, through chat, and they can help you with that process. So already done, already here, already available. I think it's been available since probably late June, early July, right?
Yep, correct.
Yep.
And then secure tag, because that's pretty important. We're about to be rolling some stuff out around that. So I wanted to have Nate speak on that really quickly.
Yeah, so the specific question was if they've claimed it and haven't received it. So if you've claimed your secure tag and haven't received it yet, just go ahead and make sure that your BankSocial app is on the most updated version. We've introduced a new claim process, an upgraded claim process in the settings section. So just open the app, go to settings, secure tag, claim. There's a super short form. It takes a minute to fill out. And now it will automatically show you how many tags you have available to claim. Once you fill that out, we'll be able to get your tag shipped out soon. For those that were in the beta testing group and have a founder's tag, there is an extra bonus for you. But yeah, that's my advice. Go ahead and reclaim through the app. We'll also be sending an email to all claimers as a reminder with those details in the next couple weeks. And if you need any assistance, just come through support chat and we'll take care of you.
Beautiful. Okay, thanks, Nate. All right. Do we have any other questions we haven't covered in here? Oh, are the stocks that are coming tokenized or just stocks?
Yeah, we tapped on that earlier. They are tokenized stocks. So the ability to move your stocks between your BankSocial app and your financial institution, so they are tokenized in a way that will allow you to move them between institutions, move them between our app and other institutions. So in that regard, they are tokenized inside the wallet. And yes, at the end of the day, they are just stocks. I mean, just like a Bitcoin is just a Bitcoin, right? So these things they're tokenized for portability, and but we still have to adhere. That's kind of one of the things we're.
He
You're frozen.
froze. We still have to SEC rules. So I mean we've got to.
Yeah, I keep breaking up. We
But
always schedule
it's
these at
SEC
the most
rules. We still have
opportune
to-
times. That's right.
sound
We
good
still
now,
have
though,
to
John.
adhere to we still have to adhere to all the regulatory requirements, and so that's always a priority. I think what we will never do. We've been questioned a lot. A lot of people have asked us why we haven't, pushed the envelope to the illegal side, and it's really because the whole purpose of this is to move fast and innovate in a compliant way, as opposed to move fast, break things, and then get arrested for 6 months, and hopefully we can talk our way out of it or pay our way out of it because we made enough money to do that. That's never been the goal. That never will be the goal. Working with banks and financial institutions, the paramount focus is how do we innovate way.
John? Yeah, we lost you for a second.
You there, John? Well, while John's gone, to answer got to learn's question about the security tag. No. If somebody takes your phone, no, they can't. In your tags in a safe, they can't take your crypto. And it has to be pretty close proximity. And it's not susceptible to an RFID attack. it is using a crypto Bluetooth signal, so you can't RFID hack it.
And then Kevin, okay, so the question really quick, I wanted to let Anthony answer that question about the vaulting freeze on.
Yeah, because Kevin, I think it was Kevin that mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
It's not that we're going backwards. Phase one is just a reach out procedure. Reach out to us and we'll freeze your tokens. Reach out to us again. You'll have to KYC to unfreeze. And then, at phase two, we will have it implemented into the app where the user can freeze and unfreeze themselves.
Perfect.
Yep. And that was a phased.
I think John's trying to say that was a phased approach.
Yes. Oh, it came through quickly. We got the end of that. So Founders NFT, we probably have time for like one or two more questions. There's one around the Founders NFT. Oh, cool, Kevin. And yeah, I think the Founders NFT and how it's part of the ecosystem. Nate, John, I'm not sure if you're frozen, but Nate or Anthony, do you guys want to take that question?
Nate is the expert on.
Yeah. So definitely John has the full reach of the Founders NFTs, but one thing that Founders NFT holders will be able to do in the future is to participate in direct nodes. So that is a main utility. And then I'll let John expand from there.
I missed that. I was getting caught up in the.
So
what was the question?
NFTs in direct nodes. How that's going to work?
Yeah, so the Founders, so we wanted to make that as simple as we've made kind of essentials, where there's no real guesswork there. You hold the Founders tag inside of, or the Founders NFT inside of the wallet, and then Founders features open up for you, one of which being a DREC helper node, and then benefiting from the network effect of the DREC helper ecosystem. There's did we ever get the page back up, Sarah, on the website for community founders helper node?
No,
Founders?
That's technically, well, that's something we're pushing it live with the next round, but we could, soon with the next round that's going live on the site.
Cool.
So and then so reading more, that'll probably be up on the site, and we'll make a social post, so we'll make sure and drop it in verified when it goes live, and then post it on social so you guys know as soon as it's live on the site. Bless you.
Yeah, there's a question on whether the payouts BSL or whatnot, so we need to get all the deets on the page so everybody understands it.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions before we wrap? Okay, I don't think we have any other questions coming through right now. But yeah, we're going to be here every Thursday. Kevin, I want to tell you, it's great to see you on this live. I was shocked. I was like, oh, Kevin's going to join. This is awesome. And it's really great when you guys are actually sending questions through the chat. That's beautiful. If you can't join or you don't want to send it live through the chat, you can go to our verified chat and send in a question beforehand, or even DM us on X. All right, guys, do you guys have any final thoughts or anything you want to leave everybody with this week? John, are you thinking about that?
Pack up and get.
He's frozen in thought mode.
I'm gonna echo Sarah's and say thanks to the community for being here and keeping us honest and asking the questions. Like, we're here for you, not for ourselves. So it's good to hear from you.
We wouldn't be here without all of you.
Yeah, Anthony said we wouldn't be here without all of you. I don't know if you guys heard that. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yep, and also little sneak peek, the carbon cards will be heading your way if you guys are on the wait list.
Same time next week, right, Sarah?
Yes, every week, 2 p.m. Central. We'll be here live. Questions can come in live, but we're happy to take them beforehand if you can't join.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
You got it. All right. Well, thanks,
I
everyone.
expect to see you here, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Every week, 2 p.m.
If I don't have a conflicting meeting, which always happens, but I will try to make sure people don't book that time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.